but that kind of takes away from the burn.
I like the burn. The burn's nice.
The burn can be a little intense sometimes when you jump up the milligrams.
Oh, it's
They
great.
can,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can be a little hot.
Love it.
Love it.
Give me that burn.
What milligram are you chewing now?
6.
Oh, same.
But like after I eat, I'll double them.
Yeah.
Just get a little extra.
My brother calls it Russian roulette, and he takes Zins. He got 3 and 6s in there,
And
shakes
just
them up,
see what
and he
happens.
puts 2 in. And he goes, "Are you a 6 or 9 or 12?"
That's a pro move right there. That is a pro move. We just don't even know.
You are, cowboy.
Yeah.
The body gets. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Man, thank you guys for having me.
I appreciate. I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah, me too. I was coming here and like full transparency. I've listened to every episode of your guys'. So
You have?
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, big fan of what you guys are doing. And we were coming to Vegas, and I told my agent, I was like, I've got to go see these guys. Like, I have to go there, just go see it at least. So I'm stoked to get to chat with you guys and be here.
Did you know what you were getting into when I reached out? Were you just wanting to stop by?
Well,
And
I was like, I would love to chat with them, but you know, I'm busy. You guys are busy. It's just a busy time of the year with the holidays, and like
Yeah.
I'm at appearances all day. It goes from 10 a.m. till 4 or 5 p.m. and then we go to the rodeo and
Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah.
repeat. Yeah, and so we've been doing that since last Tuesday.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
this is kind of like the end. So this is a good thing to kind of end it with for me. I'm fired up.
The 10-day stretch for you guys, that's a
Yeah.
lot. Like we do 4-day stretches and we are
oh
done.
man, I need
These
a week
Cowboys,
off.
these Cowboys.
I
are
need a
doing
week
10
off
days.
from work after a 4-day expo.
By the way, they're in Vegas for the 10 days.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
that's
no
not-
joke.
All
Flat
day.
kills me.
It
Late
kills
night
us, too.
activities.
Yeah, dude. The hardest thing is trying to maintain some kind of schedule, right? And like for our athletes and anyone listening that doesn't know what I do, I'm a strength and conditioning coach that works specifically with rodeo athletes.
We should mention Doug Champion is your
my
name.
name is Doug
Your
Champion.
last name is actually Champion.
It is actually champion. Hey, way better than like runner up or second place, right?
better
Yeah, exactly. That was my first comment. I was like, hey,
This
we
is
got
the
this guy
best.
Doug on.
As soon as you sent us the email, I'm like, that's the best cowboy name ever.
Yeah.
Doug Champion.
Yeah, better than Kreitzer.
Better than Kreitzer.
But yeah, so we're out here supporting our athletes. We've got some guys that are in some world title races, and like you said, Vegas is a 24/7 town. Whatever routine you want, you can have, but the routine is so different out here than majority of our regular day life. You know, normally I'm up at 4 a.m. like getting my workout in, getting ready for work. I'm asleep as soon as it gets dark, you know.
Yeah.
And out here, that is not an option. So, you know, we're working on it. It's been a little bit of an adjustment period, but now I'm going to sleep at midnight, waking up at 8 a.m. and I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go, feeling
Yep.
good. The biggest thing is not drinking.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the one thing that you can't sustain out here if you drink all
As a cowboy in Vegas, how does that work?
moderation, baby. and, until all the responsibilities are gone, and there will be a night that we will have a really
Yeah,
good time.
yeah.
But it's been and that's been a learning curve. I've been doing this we've been out here for 5 or 6 years doing this, kind of working our show and doing everything. And dude, I've never not drank during the week, and this has been the first week, and I'm like, oh, this is how people do it. Like I feel so much better now.
Yeah.
So it's been a little bit of adjustment, but it's been a great time.
Yeah.
I was telling you, one of my roommates in college was on the college rodeo team. And they went to the college national finals. He was really good, bulldogger and healer, Miles Suberg. Shout out Miles.
Good guy.
But yeah, I know the cowboy world.
What'd you say his last name was?
Suberg?
Oh, I thought you said Hilberg, and I was like,
No,
what?
Miles Suberg. He's
Okay.
a stud. We called him Smiley. He's like Scott
Smiling.
Christensen, always laughing,
Yeah.
smiling, always.
Those are
But
the
man,
best people to have around.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. If you get it tied up with them for a night, it's not a good morning.
It gets rowdy.
Not
gets
a good
rowdy.
morning.
They can go pretty hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Good crowd,
time.
though.
Phenomenal.
We
crowd.
have Jared, our Mystery Ranch and Vortex rep. He's in town today, and we were talking to him. He stayed over last night. And he's like, man, you know what's crazy? He's like, the trips to Vegas that I've been, he's like, I always try to stay at night. He's like, this is a much better crowd. He's like, this
Yeah.
cowboy crowd that's like here to see the rodeo and much
Yeah.
more friendly, easy
I will-
going. He's like, it's a good crowd.
Yeah, I will tell you from a born and raised local here, like this is the 10 days that everyone looks forward to. Casinos love it. There's no issues. Everyone's gambling, having a good time. It's like I mean, obviously it's Christmas as well, but like this is the Christmas of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because it's the best people from all over the world
Yeah.
that are just here to have a good time. Bunch of cowboys.
Everyone's
It's
polite
phenomenal.
and nice and will shake your hand and say
Right.
hi and like he's having a good
Yeah.
time.
Casinos have zero issues, and it's just all fun and games.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Rodeo people are
The best.
salt of the earth,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, like anyone will give you the shirt off their back. And I was chatting with some girls in the elevator this morning, and they're like, we come to Vegas a few times a year and do our thing, but like this is the only time that we feel like really safe.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to worry about, what could happen, because everyone here, if something happens, they're going to whip your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to dive in and get to know you a little bit better, talk about what you got going on. You have a fitness program, right? Champion Living Fitness. I checked out your website.
Yeah.
You got a podcast.
Yep.
So
we're kind of doing all of the above. We, like I said, specialize in training rodeo athletes. Rodeo is a sport that has really never had any kind of athletic development put into it. It's kind of get tough or die situation. You're either going to be good or you're not. And I had a career-ending injury. I broke my back riding bareback horses. And I had worked out and trained and done all the things I thought were correct. And throughout that process, I realized that what I was doing was maybe good in my head because I was doing work, but it didn't relate to rodeo. I was doing bodybuilding workouts, or there's just no information about fitness for rodeo athletes. And so I did my own rehab since after my back fusion. I had my L4, L5, and S1 fused, and just really started diving into like, how can we make rodeo athletes not just compete better, but last longer? Because the thing about rodeo is it's a longevity game. You're never going to get a $5 million contract like a professional football player or baseball player. You're winning $4,000 or $5,000 at a time, maybe even less. And you have to go to 100 rodeos and accumulate 100,000 or 200,000 to make this NFR, which is what makes all of those rodeos worth going to. Because the truth of the matter is, like, majority of these guys that made the NFR, maybe not this year because sponsors and things are changing so much, they're at like zero when they get here. It took every dollar they made to get there. And so they've got to be able to perform and do this thing. And so we see rough stock riders, I'm sure like, there's no 40-year-old rough stock riders, or there's 35 is ancient. Like, you're a dinosaur in that world. My goal is I want to make Tom Brady's of the rough stock world. Guys that can compete at 40, make a living, and do it long enough that the money that they win isn't gone by the time they're done, right? So it's just, we're in such a growth period with the sport, and it's been a professional sport for a long time, but really it's coming into a new look, and it's pretty cool to see. So we're here to help them kind of just manage their way through it, find their path and do it. And we work through all kinds of injuries and things that happen on the road, but it's awesome, man. It's a great time.
What got you started in rodeo?
Man,
Did you grow up in it?
I didn't necessarily grow up in rodeo. My dad grew up on a ranch. We were always kind of, riding horses and doing things like that. And me and my brother have always kind of just been wild. Like, I like to do wild stuff. It fires me up. Like, like boring things don't get me so excited. So we were always, I downhill ski raced. Man, we grew up everywhere, first of all. So, like, I was born in Cali. Grew up most of my younger childhood, elementary school in Alaska. We lived in Anchorage. My dad ran the Sheraton in Anchorage in the downtown there. Yeah. Moved to Texas. I went to middle school there. Graduated high school in Arizona. Went to college at University of Wyoming. Lived in Colorado for a bit. Now I'm in Montana. But
what part of Montana?
I'm just south of Missoula. I'm in Stevensville.
Stevensville. Yeah.
So
Runs
love
my both
it
went to college in Missoula.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. So
I love that place.
Dude, it's my favorite place.
I love that place.
Nothing reminds me of Alaska like that place does. Just like the mountains coming straight up out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's beautiful, man. I love it. But we just like to do wild stuff. So like, I went junior Olympic downhill ski racing till I was 12. My dad was a collegiate ski racer, and then we moved to Texas, and there is no ski racing there.
Yeah.
And so we just started getting on horses, and a couple of the people in our barn roped, and then we went to some rodeos and saw bucking horses, and we were like, dude, we've got to do that. That's for us. Let's do it.
You and your brother?
Yeah, and actually my brother he got on bulls forever, and my brother's made the NFR 9 times. He's there's a rodeo called the American in Dallas. It's one time a year. And if they invite the top 10 in the world, those guys have the opportunity to win $100,000. They have a qualifying series where 5 guys get to qualify for each event. If that guy beats the top 10 in the world, he gets $1,000,000.1. My brother was the first one to ever do that. He won $1,000,000.1 in 16 seconds.
Holy
Really?
shit.
Yeah, at 21 years old.
Talking NFL, MLB money.
Yeah, it's life-changing money.
At 21?
At 20, as a kid, man. As a kid.
Good for him.
Thank God our dad was smart with money, you know, because he could
Yeah.
have just blown that quick, and he invested it, and he's probably going to be set just fine from that. And it's allowed him to rodeo for all these years and not have to worry about the money, because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a huge thing. Is
Yeah.
you're riding to live. Like
Yeah.
eventually, money gets low. The head starts playing games with you, and it just goes downhill. So to be able to rodeo and not have to worry about the financial
Yeah.
side all the time has been a huge benefit for him.
What's he do? What
He
do you
rides
think?
bareback horses
Yeah.
now, but he started as a bull
Still
rider.
does.
Yeah. Well,
Is
he
younger brother or older brother?
younger brother. He started on bulls. He's a world champion mounted shooter. I don't know if you guys know what that is. So
Nope.
your horseback, 2 revolvers, and they have patterns set up, and they're different colored balloons essentially. But you're running full speed on your horse, like old cowboy style, blasting these balloons, and the fastest time to win gets the prize.
That's cool.
And
Yeah,
so,
that sounds
That
real
sounds
fun.
awesome.
oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude. It's pretty cool.
I wonder how we do on that after our
Terrible.
6 salary day.
We take last place.
Terrible.
We couldn't even shoot a pistol
Terrible.
standing up.
Dude, I'm terrible with the pistol too.
On a horse? No way.
But it's he was naturally great on a horse, and he got on bulls so much and was so not good at it, like to the point where one day I was like, dude, if you buck off this bull, you're coming with me to the practice pen and we're getting on a horse. I just knew he'd be natural. I didn't know how natural he would be, but I put him on his first horse and he literally spurred this thing. Like that doesn't happen. It usually takes 100 head to figure something out. Everything's going so fast. You black out half the time. The adrenaline's
Yeah.
pumping so hard. But he had already known what it's like to be on bucking animals. Put him on the horse, and I think in under 50 horses, he was 89 in a pro rodeo, like just like gone.
Kind of
Toss.
naturally gifted
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. I should have never shown him that.
How does the guy decide whether they're going to be a bronc rider or a bull rider?
You know, I think it's just, I don't know, whatever draws you. But there are a lot of guys that do what my brother did and like try one thing and it didn't work out, and someone's like, hey, why don't you just try this? And they're outstanding at it.
Do bull riders look at bronc riders
They
like
think
you-
we're crazy.
Yeah. Really?
Nuts.
They don't look
it's
at you
so
as like
funny. No,
they don't
horse
look at you
riders
like
are
you're second
terrified of
class?
bulls, and the bull riders are like, get those horses away from me,
Really?
man. Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed
Yeah.
that.
Me either.
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
thought bull riders would have been like,
that.
eh.
Like, what's the thought process there?
The speed, the height, and you're locked in the horse riding. So the bareback riding, like when you run your hand in, so imagine like a suitcase handle vertically, and you're like a leather work glove that's very padded and has like, we call them tits, but they're like cheaters. So they're like little knobs here and here. And when you get it past that handle and roll it over, like
It's not coming back.
It's not coming out. And so if you come off the other side of whatever hand you're riding with, you're stuck. And
I've
that
seen that.
horse is
Yeah, I've seen
dragging
it.
you forever and ever and ever. And like, it's sketchy. It's sketchy. And the bulls, when you hang to them, they're not running. They're just staying right there. So they're like thought of their process in their head is like, if I can stay right here, they can save me much faster.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of the horns and the feet and getting wrapped up under them. And I've just seen way more injuries happen in the bull riding. So I don't know if the rationale is very on point, but each of us
But
is
that's-
like,
yeah.
nope, you guys are each crazy. We're not doing it.
I think we need to see Trail get on one of these.
No chance. I rode some calves when I was a kid, and
yeah.
I rode some sheep.
Yeah, mutton busting. That's
I've done
that's
some mutton busting.
my favorite.
In
my
elementary
favorite
school.
thing to watch is the mutton busting of all the cowboy kids.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It's the most entertaining thing
It's
ever.
amazing.
It's a good
Absolutely.
thing there was no cell phones back then to watch me at my finest.
I wish there was. I would love to see
my
that.
finest mutton busting. Yeah, I let one drag me across the
The arena. the
arena
bend.
one time. Yeah, yeah, the Paiute County Rodeo.
That's awesome.
They still do it every summer. They still do mutton busting.
They still do
yeah.
it here. At the,
Oh, really?
Cowboy Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah,
No way.
upstairs in Cowboy Christmas, they still do.
You
mutton.
can
Yeah.
get your kids out and ride
Yeah.
a
Oh,
sheep.
yeah.
Shit, I'll have to send my
That's what
kids down here.
when we did the expo at Hunter Christmas.
That's right.
Yeah, I would just go upstairs and watch the mutton busting every time they had it. I'm like, this is great. I have to leave work for this.
Absolutely.
How? So you got it. So what age were you when you got into when you started riding?
Man, I started riding horses, obviously young, but like bucking horses when I was about 15, sophomore in high school. I lived in Arizona then.
Okay.
So practice was not as abundant there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you practice for that? I've always
Yeah.
wondered. Like, I was a bull rider or a bronc rider. Like, where do you practice and how often?
That's a good question.
The live practice can't happen that often just because of like the sheer things your body goes through during it, right? And the thing when you're learning is it needs to be a very specific caliber of animal that you're getting on
Yeah.
because everything is happening so fast when you're learning and you're scared, you're nervous, and you have to think about all these things that keep you alive, and it just can be a lot. And so we run a school, it's called the Optimal Performance Academy, and like again, rodeo's never had any kind of developmental camps. And so usually rodeo schools are the stock contractors, the people that own the animals, they are bucking all of their babies. And these kids are not paying to come on. They're coming to learn for free, but they're getting on babies. So the kids are learning, the horses are learning. And oftentimes it turned into an absolute train wreck because we don't know what the horses are going to do. They're young. They're figuring out how to buck. It's a lot of times like blowing up a balloon and just letting it go. Just everywhere. And you can't learn that way. And so we've reformatted how we teach everything. And we do actually 2 days of just ground school and professional skills. So we teach them how to work out, how to eat correctly, how to run their social media in a way that's presentable for sponsors, and to be a good ambassador for the sport of rodeo. There's a few other classes that we do. Budgeting, how to manage your money on the road. That's another thing guys don't know, but the skill work is what comes after that. And so we've got stationary barrels for bull riders, which is just a barrel. And it's maybe at a little bit of an incline, and they're practicing the fundamentals that they need to learn to ride the bull. Horses are the same way. We call it a spur board. You put your rig in or your saddle on it, and you're going to practice everything very slow because you have to learn the reps perfectly to do. Like out there's no thinking once we're getting on animals. It's just strictly reaction. So we have to train them in a way that there are so many perfect reps that when their body doesn't know what to do, it just reacts and does the thing. Because usually what happens, especially when you're learning, is, like I said, you're blacking out for majority of the rides. And then all of a sudden you'll get to this point where like you'll still be on and 2 jumps will have gone by and you're waking up and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. And then you fall off because
then you realize you're there.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
So you have to,
I'm really doing it.
Dude, that's exactly how it feels. You're like, holy shit, it's happening. Like, many times. And then I've had the thought of like, what in the hell am I doing right now? Like, this is going very badly. But you have to be able to, you just got to build the good reps with them. And so building the reps, unlike anything else, like, yes, you have to do the thing, but we do it a lot slower and a lot, we just have to we have to get as much control on it as we can, because once we get to the live animals, we don't have any control, right? So we're just trying to control the uncontrollable and help them learn. The process has been, dude, we've seen huge changes in these kids. Like they're learning things in 10 horses that it took us hundreds of horses to learn. And they're progressing a lot faster. That's the whole point with them, is to progress the sport and get guys winning and being successful more frequently, right?
So you're not just going to a local bar and jumping on a mechanical bull and practicing that way?
No.
That's the way I thought maybe you practice.
That's
What
how
was that
Brady
movie?
does it.
Is that Urban Cowboy?
I think so, yeah.
And so actually mechanical bull doesn't feel anything like a real bull.
Really?
Yeah. So if someone was getting on a mechanical bull and you got on a real bull, it would not translate very well.
So don't do that, Brady.
I was trying to
It almost
figure out
like
if I
the
should do this
mechanical
my future
bull almost
life.
moves more similarly to how a horse would buck, and like the up and down.
Okay.
Bulls don't necessarily just go
They
up
jump
and
and spin more,
they,
right?
Yeah, they're vertical and they're switching
Yeah.
Because
directions.
skills transfer over, though. If you're really good and you want to impress a bunch of
You know.
ladies, you go to a mechanical bull.
I think
and
if you want to
dominate,
impress ladies, you get on one. You're
Yeah,
gonna impress
real
them.
bull.
Yeah, there's all kinds of
I know
guys
what
like that.
Brady's been doing on the weekends now. He's down at Gillies on the mechanical bull. Listening to you talk, I'm like trying to put it in my head like how this is all working. It sounds a lot like MMA training.
Yeah.
But the difference is, like, MMA training, you're going against another human who understands, like, hey, let's slow this down, right? In the rodeo world, you're not getting that with the animal. Like, you
No.
can't talk them into
Unfortunately
not going
not.
full speed,
Yeah,
right?
no way.
It's like there's only one known guy who spars at full speed every single day, Sean Strickland. Everyone else is like, they don't hard spar at all. It's all real slow, so they can get in flow state when they actually get into the octagon.
Yep.
Like, it makes total sense, but how do you do that when you can't tell the horse or the bull to go slow? Like how you can't,
You
know
have
what
to
I mean?
rise up to their level, and especially like there is no.
So you have to go full. Like when you do get on the animal, there's no such thing as
Yeah.
half speed.
Yeah, you got to get on the animal, I would think.
But then there's no such thing as half speed.
No,
Right? So like,
no, you have to be fully committed and like ready
Yeah.
to fight till the death, because
That's wild.
horse or bull he doesn't want to kill you, but he will,
Yeah.
or she will. Like it will kill you if you let it.
Yeah.
So you have to be. It's just it's a state of mind. You have to be ready to fight for your life every single time. And that's what's hard for the young guys, is they get in that fight stage, but they stay in fight stage all day. So by the time we get on, they're like plumb wore out from just thinking about it. These elite guys, they can be joking around, and then 2 seconds later, like flip, and it's like, I'm about to kill you. Like,
Yeah,
let's
so
freaking go to war.
being around the MMA game a lot, that is exactly what happens there. Is like the best fighters are the ones who, like, if they have a fight Saturday night and you're around them Saturday morning at breakfast, you would never know in a million years that they're about to go fight for a title that night. You would never know it. The young kids, like, you
dude,
can
chill
tell.
out. Yeah.
You know, you can definitely tell. It's just, it's crazy to wrap your head around. Like MMA, it's, you know, you're essentially that same thought. You're fighting to the death. But in your training stages going up, you can still get in the octagon and go half speed, go 3/4 speed, and everybody kind of gets that.
So
the thought of like 0 to just go,
1,000,
and it's your first time, like, holy shit.
Yep.
What does it feel like getting on one?
It's pretty.
What do you compare it to?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
No, it's pretty uncomparable, man. Like,
What are you feeling? Like, what's going through your head before you climb on a buck and bronc?
so in the beginning, it was a lot of fear. I think everyone gets scared, and even the best out there, you're going to be a little fearful, but it's what you do with that fear. You either use it to fight or use it to run, right?
Yeah.
And so getting into that place that you have no other option but I'm going to win, that's my favorite part. Like, I'm an intense guy. Like, I love intense situations, and there's not much more that intense than running your hand in rigging and feeling every muscle of that horse twitching under you. And like, especially those older horses that, man,
And they're just a little bit stronger than you, too. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But like, when you get absolutely tapped off on one and it feels effortless on something that should be just absolutely manhandling you, there's no other. You're conquering the wild, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you are conquering the wildest thing out there, and there is no other feeling like that. It's a high. And that's
Yeah.
what keeps guys going back to it and fighting for that.
I was telling you earlier when you got here, I got on a plane from Missoula to Salt Lake, and I sat down. There was a cowboy next to me, and we started talking hunting. We were talking elk hunting, and introduced myself, and it was Eli Vassbender, he's a PBR rider, right?
Yep.
Bull rider. So I started talking to him, and I think he's been riding about 18 years. I want to
At
say
least.
at least 18.
least.
Yeah, he was telling me he was expecting, I think, twins at the time, and he was. I told you earlier, but like, I peppered that guy for the entire flight with questions. It was like a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure at the end of that, he was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he needs to get the hell away from me, because every question I ever had under the sun, I asked that guy. But super nice guy, I should say. Yeah, one other comment. I was telling you earlier, I shook that guy's hand as I was leaving, and I was like, holy shit. Like, that's what a man's hand should feel like. Like,
That's a big,
not my hand. My hand feels like a keyboard warrior, you know what I mean? But like a catcher's glove, and then forearms just ginormous, you know?
Yeah.
But I asked him the same question, like, what do you feel, you know? And he was like, just like the most intense feeling. He's just like adrenaline, you know? And I was asking him, after 18 years or 20 years of riding, do you feel any different? Is it easier to get on? He's like, no.
No,
He's
it
like, I
doesn't
feel
go
it
away.
every single time.
How
And
you
like, I
deal with
can't
it
imagine
changes.
what that would be like. Like, every single time you jump on it, and it's like you said, 100 days a year you're riding, right? Minimum.
Yeah. So these guys have counts. They have a maximum amount of rodeos they can go to in a year. So they have to have some strategy behind where they enter, how they do it, because I don't know how many rodeos are in the actual season. We don't have a real season. It ends September 31st, and the next season starts October 1st.
Oh, perfect.
So we have to
Long off season.
Yeah, oh, dude, and that's the other
awesome.
hard part is like we have to plan their off seasons for these elite guys. It's like we're gonna get done with the NFR. Well, big rodeos kick off in January. Like they have the chance to win 50, 60,000 at each rodeo starting in January, going through March and April. So there's no real rest time. So we're kind of building in little intermittent off seasons throughout the season to keep them fresh, and like learning things about the money in the game throughout the year. So like in this first part of the year, there's a lot of money, but the end of the season is August, September. And during those 2 months, there's like an astronomical amount of money. What you see young guys doing is getting really excited and seeing their name really high in the world standings. So they're entering. All of a sudden by August, they're maxed out. All these elite guys pass them in 2 weeks because they just go take all this money that's available.
So you have a maximum of 100.
It's different in each event.
Is there a minimum at all?
No.
You have to hit a certain point total, right? Is that how that works?
To qualify?
Yeah.
It's money. So it's all
Okay,
based off
yeah,
of
money.
money. So there is like separate series, if you will, throughout rodeo. So we have the world standings, and there's like the Justin playoff series. And that you have to hit 45 of those type of rodeos to qualify for that. But if you win money and qualify for that, it counts towards your world standings, getting you the
Got
NFR.
it.
So it's like a give and take. It's all strategy. And that's another thing about the game is so hard to figure out is it's like, okay, I can ride bucking horses or bulls or rope or whatever. Where do I go now? How do I enter? And am I ready to enter with them? And there's a lot of things that go into it, man.
Yeah.
There's a ton of things.
I remember after talking to him thinking, this must be an individual that is extremely well versed in managing high stress situations. Just, I mean, you'd have to be like your ability to just manage a stressful situation and that fight or flight and fight every single time.
Yep.
It was a really interesting conversation to talk to that dude. And I remember thinking, man, this is a gnarly way to make a living. But
yeah, I find it interesting that kids coming up, like,
yeah,
you just got to learn it from day one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sink or swim, literally.
How's it changed? So I know you talked a little bit like you do your fitness side of things. So like in the years that you've been involved in rodeo, like how has it progressed?
Well, fitness is the number one thing. We're seeing guys, girls treat this like a sport, take care of their body. The money that's being added to it, I think we're in a big upswing, if you will, of like the Western way of life being popular, and thanks to Yellowstone.
Yeah. Did you watch? Did you watch?
I did, and like I think it's incredible for.
What did you think of the final episode? Did you watch it?
I didn't finish it.
I just watched it 2 nights ago. That's why I asked.
Don't talk about it. My wife will kill you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it's awesome what it's doing for our way of life, and I think, man, the country needs some stuff like this, like more patriotism, like getting us all together. And I think the Western way of life does that. Just like you guys talking, like this week in Vegas, in Sin City. Dude, it's a pleasure to be around everybody, and it's just how everybody is in rodeo. And the game is changing, though. We're seeing a lot of guys that were not born rodeo guys, not born in rodeo families, and just really badass athletes, like baseball players or football players, and that ended. And they're same as us. They like intense things. So there's a kid named Cade Saunier, and he's from Louisiana. He was an incredible baseball player, collegiate baseball player. His dad's a world champion saddle bronc rider. And one day he was like, I don't want to play baseball anymore. I want to go ride bucking horses. 2 years later, he's in Thomas and Mack.
Really?
Like accomplished
in 2 years.
So the fact that the athletic development that he had, I can teach anyone how to ride a bucking horse. I can't put in the work in the gym for you and make you coordinated and all those things that he did to get where he was as a baseball player. It just translates over. So we're seeing a lot of guys that are really talented athletes in other sports seeing this as like, dude, that's pretty cool. Let's go try that out. And they're successful. So we're seeing a lot of crossover, which is, man, that's so exciting to me, because for a long time it felt like rodeo didn't mean to, but it almost had like gatekeepers. If you had your hat a certain way or hat looked a certain way, like they wouldn't let you in, kind of a thing. And like, you'll even see that sometimes with Yellowstone in the rodeo community, people will talk crap about it. Like, his hat was on backwards. Like, the producers don't know, and it just happens. But that's beside the point. The whole point is they're in a cowboy hat and they're living this way of life, and like people are fired up about it. So, man, I think the change in the sport, and then the fans. We're seeing so many more fans that are coming around. And the thing about rodeo that's so cool is when you're a fan of someone, they're like tangible. Like, you can go talk to them at their signings. At the NFL or those higher levels, you can't go see them. Like, you're maybe the biggest fan ever, but you'll never get to meet that person. You can go meet and talk to your heroes in rodeo, and they're just another guy. You know, it's the coolest part about it. But the sport's changing. I think the popularity is going up. Kid Rock got involved in it, which is so cool.
Bow to bow.
And his is dude. Exactly.
Some of my favorite clips ever is when he comes on to Woodstock 99 and walks out in a full white fur coat and throws that thing off with his button-up baseball Detroit shirt.
It's the best, dude.
My name is Kid Rock. It's the best, one of the best clips ever.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah,
he's a legend.
Legendary. So guys are training for rodeo. And that, I mean, how recent would you say that?
Last 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
It's that new?
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. Like, I hate tooting our horn, but we started this for sure. The movement, and there's a lot more coaches out there now, but we were the only thing for a lot of years, and it was just because of my injury. And I think that's what got us the recognition that we have, is because you saw the results in me, right? And like, they told me I would never ever get on another bucking horse ever again. And honestly, I went through it. It hurt. It sucked. Like, the pain that I went through after the surgery, like, I did not want to get on. At all.
What happened exactly?
Actually, the video I could probably show you.
We can put that. Maybe we can clip it.
Yeah,
in.
but
Some B-roll.
Let me see if I can find it.
Is it pretty brutal?
It's not like, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, is he alive? But you're gonna be like, that freaking hurt. Yeah, that was bad.
That fucked him up.
Yeah. It was pretty gnarly.
And it was at this point.
Yeah,
I champion knew.
You're on a horse though?
Yeah, I was on a horse. Man, let me see if I can. It's not pulling up. I'll find it here in a minute. Anyways, horse was going across the pin. It was actually going really great, and she just decided she didn't like to be spurred anymore, and literally just barrel rolled, jumped instead of bucking, and just rolled with me into a fence. And so she sandwiched me, my rigging into my chest, and like the panels and her, and we just went squish.
Smashed.
So she crushed my collarbone, 4 of my ribs, and my back. And my ribs and my collarbone hurt so bad, I had no idea my back was even hurt. And so I was kind of like knocked dumb for a minute, but I still got up, and my brother walks me out of the arena. I'll never forget this. I'm laying on the back of the bucket chutes. It's sunny, and it just starts pouring rain. And I'm like, this is it. I'm dying. Like, this is the last moment of my life, dude. But it actually took some time for me to figure out my back was so messed up because everything else hurt so bad. So it took me about 4 months to be like, something's not right. Went and got a MRI. Vertebrae were split right down the middle, fractured, so my discs were really herniated. And it took me a year and a half to find a surgeon that would operate on me because I was so young. I was 23 at the time.
Oh, shit.
Mostly orthopedic surgeons were doing those kinds of surgeries, and at least I got honest opinions from them. They were like, we're not very confident in what your quality of life will be like after.
Oh,
so
wow.
they're like, get strong. That's the best thing you can do is get your core strong, get your body strong. So that's what I did. And leading up to that, I found a neurosurgeon in Houston. His name is Dr. Siddiqui. He works at the Texas Spine Institute. I walked in there the first day, and he's like, I'll fix you. Like, done.
That's
I
got to
got
be
you.
good to hear
Dude,
at that point.
I didn't even know it was really going to go on during the surgery. I was like, yep, let's go. What's the date? We get there, and my poor mom's there, and she's like asking questions that I haven't asked. And so this is like a 9-hour surgery. A heart surgeon comes in, splits you in the
Holy shit.
front. They take all of your organs out on the table. They fuse the front of your spine. The heart surgeon puts all your organs back, glues you up. They flip you over. Then the back surgeon does your back and connects everything to it. So,
Whoa. Holy shit.
It's a
Yeah, with my dad having surgeries
it's a big
recently,
deal.
like listening to what they do, like they went in from the from his neck.
He had a neck
basically-
fusion?
He's had a bunch, but
Yeah.
yeah, they went in through the throat, big incision here, and they basically just kind of lay everything aside. And like talking to the surgeon that did it after his, it was just like when he talks you through it, you're like, what?
Yeah. How
You're,
did you just
you're
do
doing
this?
that?
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds insane. I mean,
That's
I've got
wild
one.
to think that they're doing it from the front. It's like
Yeah.
when you gut an animal, though. I mean, the spine is right there.
Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, same thing.
Right by your tendies, baby.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. But yeah, so it was just that sucked. But I learned so much from the recovery aspect of it, and
What was recovery?
it was a year,
Like full year?
and like
Were you in a back cast?
I was in so they have a bone growth stimulator on you, and then you have a brace. And for the first 2 months, I could only stand or lay down. I couldn't sit, so your spine can't bend during that time that it's trying to the bones are
That
fusing,
sounds
right?
terrible.
So all I could do was I
sounds
walked a lot
horrible.
and I laid down a lot. The first part was easy because I was like just so sore, right? But just the experience of going through that, and then there's so many of my friends and people that rodeo that saw what I had done, and then on the other side of it, how I've worked out, like came out of it, and I actually bought a CrossFit gym, started the first CrossFit gym in the town I graduated college in. I got obviously rodeo was gone, so I'm an intense guy. I started competing in CrossFit. Was really competitive in CrossFit. Did teams. We almost made regionals a couple times.
That's awesome.
But I was like clean and jerking 345, snatching 275, and they said
From a back injury.
they said I would never
Wow.
be able to do any of those things, right? And
Holy
so
hell.
over that time, it was about 5 years and probably 6 years since my injury, and I was like, I want to get on one more time just to prove to myself that I can do it and not end that way. And so I just did all the things that I wish I would have done. And I got on nothing but the spur board, the practice stuff I was talking about. I didn't get on a horse for 2 months. The first horse I ever got on was the best ride I've ever made in my entire life. If it was at a pro rodeo, it'd probably been like 86, 87 point ride. And I was done. I'm like, I'm good.
What was the thought process when
Really?
you jumped on the horse for the
Dude,
first
and
time?
so that was the most rewarding part is I was such a head case when I rode
bet.
before. And this time I had trained myself so well at just controlling what I can control. And there's only 3 things I can control when I'm riding. Lifting on my rigging, setting my feet as physically hard and as fast as I can, and tucking my chin. And that's literally all there is to bareback riding. The horse sends your feet to you because you're not going to stop. He is too powerful. Your feet are going to come to you. So they kind of start spurring him for you. As long as you can set them and have your brakes, you're going to win.
So when you climbed on that horse that time, that's what you were thinking. Those 3 things.
I
I'm
literally-
gonna
I
nail
just said it.
those 3 things.
I said, lift and set my feet, lift and set my feet. And I told myself that over and over and over until I like nodded my head. And
Yeah.
it was actually really funny because we're in a practice pen. Like all my closest friends are there. And this horse takes a little run. We have a little trick and we call it shapping the horse. And essentially a guy will stand, I don't know, 10 yards in front of that horse. And once he's about to hit you, you throw those shaps at his feet and he'll jump them. And it makes him start bucking and breaks him. This horse saw him out there. And I mean like full on beelines to him. And he doesn't have time to throw those shaps. He about gets run over. And so I'm holding my feet, just looking down the neck. And I just see this cowboy hat going like this in front of me. I'm like, what is happening right now? And we get off and he's like, you almost killed me. Like, you almost killed me. And, but it was the experience of that. It wasn't at a rodeo, but like having my buddies there and like the hooping and hollering and cheering, like, dude, you've been waiting on that. You've been thinking about that for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just so rewarding,
So
man.
you weren't a head case on that?
No,
right?
it was the most calm I've ever been.
I thought you were saying you were going to be.
I was more of a head
incredible.
case back in the day because I just wasn't confident in my ability, right? And like it just proved to me in what we're doing, the process that I put into place to teach others freaking works.
Yeah.
You know, like that was literally the turning point or like the light bulb moment, like, oh dude, we got to double down and do this. Like we need to start schools. If we want this to grow, we've got to help this sport grow. And then fitness has been our number one way to do that.
How what kind of, so you said CrossFit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like what kind of programs are you working on with riders? Like
Man.
what does a bronc rider or bull rider need?
Yeah, so it's very different than CrossFit. And again, most rodeo athletes want to gravitate towards CrossFit because they like intense things, but it's literally probably one of the worst things we could do for our body especially a rough stock rider, because of what's happening in the arena when you ride. There's so much wear and tear that we cannot control that the gym really needs to complement the arena. And so the training looks really similar to, like, the way we set it up would be like similar to like a football program, in the sense like they're working on power movements, they're working on strength movements, there is some hypertrophy in there, there's a ton of mobility in there. We get most bang for our buck with the really small, boring exercises. And usually when guys sign up, they're like, what is this? Like, I didn't sign up for Kegels, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
Brady did.
Yeah. Brady's going to school now after you're done.
Brady's a professional at that.
Yeah.
But in all reality, those are the little things that are going to keep a guy's career going longer, because especially through the groin area, we see groin tears, we see detachments from the pelvis like regularly. And the thing about rodeo athletes is we're always squeezing with our legs, right? Like, so when you're riding a bull, you're squeezing. When you're in the saddle, you're squeezing. Your body's really good at adapting to that. And so we get very strong at one thing, but we need to reciprocate it and have it strong going the other way.
Yeah.
So we see this constant state, we call it adduction, squeezing, and we see no work on the abduction, the hips going out, right? And so that's where we start running in these muscle imbalances and groin tears and hip flexor problems. A lot of our stuff is just counteracting that. And so, like, for instance, when we're programming, like a rule for us is like a 3-to-1 ratio, abduction to adduction. They're already squeezing, adducting so much in practice every day. They don't need to do that in the gym. They need to do the reverse. So we're trying to make those as strong as possible on the reciprocal side that keeps everything stabilized and keeps them healthy. So like the training part it depends on the season as well. Like when they're on the road, so June through September, they don't go home. They're gone.
Yeah.
And so workouts are limited. They have bands, maybe a yoga mat, and we're playing maintenance. We want to, everything that we built up until those 4 months, we want to try and mitigate as much weight loss as we can, and it's muscle loss. On average, we've been doing this for 5 years. Our rough stock riders lose 20 pounds in those 4 months.
Wow.
From stress, from not being at home, from not eating the way they can, and just the sheer, stress from riding alone is so much, So we're just, it's a balancing act, really, and it's different for every single person. It's so individualized, and like that's the thing about fitness is cookie cutter just doesn't work. You got to really dive into what you need.
So they do a lot of band
Tons
work.
of bands,
really?
man. Yeah, like and granted, barbells, weights, we're lifting weights, but sometimes you walk in their workouts, you're like, this is a girl's workout. Like, booty workouts.
Gotcha.
Pretty much. But we're working on the very small muscles and ligaments that are stabilizing all of those joints, especially the shoulders and hips.
Yeah.
A lot of other sports have mobility and longevity, like the longevity side of things with sports and athletes on everything, all the main sports really, football, MMA, basketball, all that stuff. It's gotten so much more in the recovery aspect of the gym. Not necessarily recovery like an ice bath, but recovery like doing banded workouts, doing light workouts, because like you said, they're doing it during practice. They're doing it during games. They're doing it. They don't need help with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's come a long ways. That's why you're seeing a lot of NFL guys. I'm biggest into NFL and MMA. That's why you're seeing those guys last so much longer.
Yep.
It's because what they're doing in the gym isn't what they're doing during training or the fight. They're doing the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. And those guys like LeBron, I'm pretty sure he puts like $5 or $6 million into his recovery
body.
game.
Yeah.
Like just recovery,
Yeah.
like the supplements, the ice baths, the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you are working, so you're in the gym working out, or you're in the mountains and we're hunting, like you are checking the box for output.
Yeah.
We've got to have fuel and we have to have recovery to balance those out. Otherwise, we will hit this place where like you're tapped, you can't
Yeah.
go anymore, and that's what we're trying to avoid, right?
Yeah. Well, it's come a long ways though, with like these independent labs and people studying this stuff. It's the recovery is also a workout. It's just the opposite muscles that aren't being stressed the same way as the ones that are constantly under tension.
Yep.
You know, that's like MMA has come a huge way with that, massive way with that.
You know, it's super similar in how
Yeah.
those athletes, we're going through the same thing. Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot more interest in it, guys that are doing rodeo, that are seeing the benefits of it.
Yeah.
I never really thought about how you would actually stay on an animal. Like what muscles would you use? I guess when I look at a buck
Every
and
single one.
yeah, I guess have you ever thought about it?
No.
Like when you think about a buck and bronc or a bull, it's like how would you stay on that thing? And you think like, yeah, they're just big biceps and forearms maybe, but
It's actually like you want big muscles, but like your biceps has nothing to do with you holding on. It's actually your lats, your posterior chain. So like,
Locking that
you know
down.
when you row,
Yeah.
and you squeeze that shoulder and delt back and lat back, like that's the same motion as when we're lifting on a rig, and it's not a pull. And so I don't, you know, what Cowboy Cerrone is?
yeah.
Oh,
Fighter,
yeah.
You saw he was like
I
trying to
love
get
that
on
Lorenzo
bulls
was the
for
last
a
one to
long time.
recognize.
Well, I didn't
Everybody
hear,
else at the table was like, yep.
I didn't hear that he said Donald Cerrone. I
Sorry, I was like, yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
quite tell what he said.
He was trying to. It was going to be like a big deal for Kid Rock's deal that he was going to get on this specific.
Twisted Steel.
Yes.
He's going to get on Dana's bull.
And at practice, he tore his bicep. That is 100% because he is so strong and doesn't understand the concept
Yeah.
of like, you're never going to outmuscle this thing. You have to work with it. It's a dance. So like, there's always tension, but there's a little like give and take each time that you're working with the horse or the bull or whatever.
Like, I never gave any thought to it that you're actually squeezing that thing with your thighs to try to stay on.
Hard. Yeah.
It's kind of like riding a dirt bike.
Yeah. It
Wow.
really is. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but like,
How
yeah.
how long, like if you have a client, right? I assume you have client bases that are rodeo riders that you work with. Like how long are they working out every day?
Oh man, it's super individualized. It's just the biggest thing. People are not going to do what I think is best for them. They're going to do what they can do, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like everyone's schedule is different.
They're
Everyone
like
has
me. They'll do what comes easy.
yeah, that's it too. And some people just don't enjoy working out, and so a lot of the times we find like, okay, I know what they need to do, but let's do what they will do. And over time, that consistency of doing it, all of a sudden we're doing. It's about an hour, man, hour and
About
a
an
half.
hour?
Yeah, and for my really elite guys, hour and a half, never over that. Because they're doing other things. They're going to get on the spur board and they have families and things like
Yeah.
that. But like there's a certain point where we can't train anymore because if we train that much, we have to recover that much too.
Yeah.
So it's just the balancing act of doing all that.
Yeah.
Do you think about an hour and a half is like what you need? What do you do?
I do an hour tops, bro.
Hour tops.
Yeah, and like
How
lot
many
of
days a
times,
week?
3 or 4.
Really?
And it depends. There's seasons of life. Like during hunting season, dude, I was gone September, October through like halfway in November. I didn't work out one time, but I hiked over 212 miles in September.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a different thing, but that's the whole reason
The
I
output
work.
was still there.
Yeah.
Just in a different way.
Totally
Yeah.
different capacity, right? So I think it just depends on what season I'm in. But like for me, I'm not a competitive athlete anymore. I just want to feel good and be able to go do the stuff that I love to do, which is being outside, hunting, fly
Right.
fishing.
Yeah.
I'm expecting my first kid next week. Like we're having our first baby. I want to go do
heck yeah.
stuff with
Good
him.
for
You
you.
know what
Guys
I'm
know he has a
awesome.
kid coming
No,
next week.
it's awesome.
I
Yeah.
asked him, "Where's your wife at?"
Yeah, she's at home and she is not pleased.
Yeah.
She's a rock star, man. She let me go hunt for 2 months, like
awesome.
literally. But we eat only game. Like that was our goal when we moved to Montana. Is like I don't want to buy meat from the grocery store anymore. And so last year was the first year I really succeeded at that. Like actually filling the freezer we had 2 elk, I had 2 deer. I think that was it. But we got through the whole year with not
That's
buying
awesome.
meat, man. And it's
Yeah.
like such a good feeling to have. And like, especially when you're starting a family, it's like, dude, we're providing for
sure.
ourselves.
Yeah.
This is so
Exactly.
neat. But it's, yeah, I work out 4 times a week. I like to, my favorite thing is I set a 30 on, 30 off timer. And so I'll do like supersets or compound sets. I'll do, strict press and a back squat. 30 on, rest 30 seconds, do the next thing.
Yep.
And just 30 minutes is like my favorite workout.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get it all done, all you need to then. Like for most guys like us that are not competing in anything, that just want to be good in the mountains, it doesn't take much.
Yeah. The
But-
older I've gotten, I've really fallen in love with the recovery style workouts, though, like banded workouts, just because the force curve, the weight curve is so different. I mean, you have tension the entire way instead of one way. It's the older I've gotten, I've really fallen in love with those workouts. Those hour and a half slow, just watching something, watching a
just feel so
documentary at the
good.
same
Just
time.
a
It's
lot of
great.
hot yoga going on.
No hot yoga. I can't. I can't get myself to do that yet. I'm not at Chris Porter's level on what I'm willing to accept.
That's right. He
But I
does.
will.
He does like some hot yoga.
Oh, he
doesn't he?
loves it. I love a solid mobility recovery style workout.
Yep.
It's awesome.
It's one of my favorite things too.
Feels
man.
so good
Yeah,
afterwards.
You just feel great.
I do it once
after
a week. I do that on Sunday every week. It's great.
What do you recommend for people that are backpack hunting? Like,
Dude,
what would
okay.
you, as far as fitness goes?
Biggest thing I think that's missed is the strength aspect of it. So like
Totally agree.
You have to have cardio for sure. But the thing about like
You're not
this
talking to
kind of
me at all.
cardio, you got to do some back squats, Trail.
No.
we got to get that back strong,
Nope,
son.
nope, we're not.
But you don't struggle. You pack out. You did your elk by yourself
Yeah, but
last year.
it's a suffer fest, is what it is. It
But-
becomes there's at some point I'm going. And here's the thing. So like I talked about my dad. My dad's had some recent surgeries. He's had 2 neck surgeries. He's had back surgery. My dad's 75, and I remember like the last real good hunt we had. He was probably about 52 or 53. That's only 7 years for me. So like to me, that's like really. It's been like right in front of my face recently, and I've always been I've just ran. I just like running. I go out and I log miles. I'll trail run. I've been doing more rucking, I guess. So 50-pound pack, and I'll do 4 or 5, 3 or 4 miles, I guess, in the mornings at an incline. But really, like strength training, I've never done it. But watching my dad, I'm like, I'm gonna have to. Like if I want to do this thing that I really like doing, I'm either gonna have to like live with the fact that I'm not gonna do it, or I'm gonna have to put my shit in a pile and figure it out.
Yep.
So you said strength.
I mean, and you don't necessarily, you might not know it, but like when you're rucking, you're doing resistance training. Like you're carrying weight, you're building your posterior chain. It's just a much simpler form than going to the gym and having a programmed workout, right? But like you need to build your legs, you need to build your back. And squats, deadlifts, any kind of rows are great. The thing that I think people misunderstand is they have this, they view lifting weights the same way they did when they were 18. And so like I was in the high school locker room, I was doing this much weight. Like I'm just going to throw this on. And it's like,
Doesn't
that's
work.
where guys get hurt.
Like
and
my
that's where
19-year-old right now, you should see him strutting around.
That guy, he's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Dude, the
He's
other
not
day I
us
was
yet.
like, do you own a t-shirt? Or what are we doing here? My neighbor comes over to bring over like a plate of Christmas treats, and my kid's sitting there
shirt.
shirtless.
Love it. And it's winter in
Yeah,
Cedar
yeah,
City.
winter. And my neighbor's like, well, if I look like that, I probably wouldn't wear a shirt either. And I was like,
Same.
don't feed this flame. Like, put a damn shirt on. What are you doing?
That's what you. I've been talking to these guys too. Brady used to lift.
I used to lift. Used to
And
be
I
jacked.
brought him over to the dark side.
Brady
now I
used
like
to be
running.
absolutely jocked, but he doesn't lift anymore.
No,
Trail
very much.
doesn't lift at all.
Nothing.
Not to throw you guys under the bus.
No,
I
go
do,
ahead.
I do
I've
at my home.
I've-
I do at my home gym. I need to get back at actually doing stuff because, like, I want, like you touched on, like some things, but like lower back for me is where I always kind of feel it in the mountains. Like, you're bending
Absolutely.
over all the time, glassing, or you're working, breaking down an animal, carrying a heavy pack. It's like that lower back area, and that's
Yeah.
where I know this year I have to start working on, more squats, more deadlifts,
Yep.
and start
Strong
doing all that stuff.
posterior is like the number one.
Yeah, if I can get
Omar-
that fixed with the combination what I do, I think I'm in a good spot.
for sure. Omar is lifting a little bit,
Yeah.
not as much as he should for how much he's running.
Yeah.
But it's not Andy Galpin, who's the other guy, bald-headed guy, also really smart, just like an Andy Galpin guy. Can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. Yeah, I watch him all the
I
time.
can't think of it.
Kelly Starrett?
No,
No.
He's
another-
a legend. I love Kelly Stewart, by the way.
another stock.
Yeah, he's
so
awesome.
in his independent lab, like he has fully now understood the 2 most important things for longevity, like absolute clear cut 2 most important things. Do you guys know what they are?
Resistance training,
Legs and lungs.
It comes with that.
Legs and lungs.
So,
Trail nice
living in
down.
elevation, maybe. I don't know.
so
Legs
if you're
and
in the
lungs.
top 25% of your age class of VO2 max,
Yep.
Okay, I got that.
Makes
And
sense.
then also lean muscle mass and strength in the top 25% of your.
Don't got that.
Those two
Yeah.
things right there are like absolutely unequivocally the gold marks for longevity. For
Interesting.
if you want to do what you're doing now for the longest possible, those are the two metrics, nothing else.
Same again, VO2 max,
VO2 max
lungs.
and strength, lean muscle mass and strength
Gotcha.
Yep. As you get older, like that is the one thing
that
preventing.
deteriorates the
Yep.
fastest.
Yep. And so you have to counteract that with weight training. And it's just how the body works, man. Just biology. Like we don't have a choice there. We are, when you hit 30, it doesn't sound very old, but like it starts not going downhill, but we start deteriorating a little bit and things start shrinking. So you've got to take care of that. And if you want to do these things that you love to do, like getting out in the mountains and hunting, do the minimum, just do it consistently. Like if you lifted once a week, you would see changes. It would take a little longer, but just one day a week of full body, nothing crazy, and just go really slow and focus on perfect form, dude, you would see huge changes. And in your running, it only makes your running better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
I've said
does.
this before, but the best I ever ran was when I was doing a lot of rucking, and it was I ran a trail half marathon, which I'd been doing a lot of rucking and not much running, and I was like, shit, this is gonna suck, like I don't think my cardio is there, and I actually ran that way stronger than I normally would have when I was doing a lot of running. And I've told Lorenzo, and he's like, well, yeah, of course, you dumbass, like, and, makes sense, but I agree. Here's the thing is like I've always been like legs and lungs, right? And I will die on the hill that like legs and lungs kill animals.
Oh yeah.
But from getting to that point to the truck is where it's like
The other part of it, Peter Attia is the doctor's name, by the way. I drew a blank on. I could tell you everything about him. Loves cycling, loves F1. I couldn't remember his name. It's Peter Attia. But the other thing though is like legs and lungs, but we also are under 50 to 70 pounds of weight all day, every day.
Minimum.
Like we're not through hikers, we're not ultra runners. You know what I mean? And that takes over 10 days of activity. That takes a massive toll, especially when the activity is multiple hours, sometimes like double digit hours of days. That's where the strength actually comes into play, of feeling better towards the end of that hunt.
We need to step up our game this year, Trail. I
He
think.
said one day a week. I could probably
Dude,
get
you
down.
do that
I
from
could
now
probably
until September or August, you will be in a totally different place. I guarantee you. And it wouldn't be that much of a change.
The hard thing, like the biggest change I made is weightlifting to me comes extremely natural. Like that is
Same. I hate
love
cardio.
it. I love it. I love lifting.
Hate it.
I'm good at it. I'm good at it. I've been strong my whole life. I've been built like a chubby brick house my entire life. So like it's just come second nature to me. Cardio on the other hand doesn't.
Yeah.
So as I've gotten older, like right around 32, 33 is when I really started noticing. I have flipped. I do cardio now 3 days a week and lift 2 days a week, which
To get better at the
before
cardio.
it was the opposite because I hated doing it. But now, like I'm so focused on doing the part that I am not good at and also that I hate, and that has, like, I've noticed a huge difference this year
In the progress
doing
of it.
that. Yeah.
Like that's what gets you wanting to do it more as you start seeing the changes.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I can
actually
get
do
better
feel
at
better.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is awesome.
Not as strong as I was, but shit, I feel way better.
And there's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
There's for each, and you can be as strong as you want. But it's like, dude, I am sucking wind up here.
Yeah.
This is rough. But you get that balance, you're freaking dangerous out there.
That's my
you know?
fact is like
Yeah.
get some guy that's real muscle bound, and you start up the hill together, and
See
he's
ya.
just sucking
See
wind.
ya.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, sucks to suck. But
We all know or been around that happening before.
Yeah.
It might look better with no shirt on, but like, hey, bro, let's go to the top.
Yeah,
How
you gotta
functional
have,
is
you
it?
gotta have
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much like stretching? Do you
I do so much stretching.
You
man.
do?
Yes,
That's
I
the
stretch
thing, I don't
so
do
much.
it.
Damn it! I don't do any.
I think like
My
back-
dad was making fun of me this summer. He can stretch and touch his toes, and I can not even come close.
Me either. That's my New Year's resolution. So I don't make resolutions, but my middle kid is super flexible. Like he can do the splits, he can do whatever he wants. And like I was telling him the other day, because he was watching me try to put my socks on, and he was like, "This is freaking hilarious." And I was like, "That's actually my goal for this next year. Is I want to be able to stand and touch my toes."
Yeah.
Which is
So you put a lot of
lame.
emphasis in stretching.
Man, a lot of emphasis on it because the reason is when you are doing resistance training, if you're not able to achieve that full range of motion, you're really like not getting the full benefit of the movement. Yeah, you're still getting something out of it, but if we're not having proper movement patterns while we're doing the movements, we're kind of just going in circles, right? So having that I think guys would be especially if you've never worked out or haven't worked out for a long amount of time, go do mobility for 4 weeks and then start picking up the resistance training so your body's not so bound up. Because when you start resistance training, you're gonna bind up, you're gonna get tighter.
It's gonna make you sore.
Yeah, you're gonna have to counteract that.
Hate that.
That's what you told me at Cam's run, lift, shoot. So I don't like, part of my thing for longevity is I'm a heavier guy. I've always been. I don't want to run. Like it's too much wear and tear on my knees, on my feet, everything. And my whole thing is longevity for hunting. I want to hunt for as long as possible. So I do nothing but ruck and like high intensity, fan bikes, rowing machines, that kind of stuff.
I'm the same way.
And so anyways, Cam Haynes' run, lift, shoot, they talked me into running the 10K.
Oh,
like,
God.
dude, I haven't ran in 3 years, but I mean, I know I can do it. I just don't want to. And they were calling me all kinds of words
Did
that
great,
start
he
with
killed
P.
it.
And so I ran it. And then I told Trey, I'm like, okay, now you have to come lift. He's like, nope, can't do it. I'll be sore.
I'm out.
I'll be sore. Can't do it.
I'll be sore. That's it.
You will.
That was your thing.
I'm
You
afraid
will.
of the soreness.
Yeah, you just go smaller. Like start with one set.
Yeah.
Literally do like 15 reps. Like, okay, I'm good. See
Yeah.
how sore you are the next day. Next week, do 2 sets. And just keep building. Because the same thing when you never run before and you go run a 10K. He's probably a little sore the next day too.
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
I worked out the next day.
Yeah,
There you go. That
And
gets the
Cam's-
soreness out.
I actually got to do a lifting workout the next day, so that was good.
he did. He took it for the team. He did everything, all the physical things. Brady and I usually bow out of the high
The
intensity
lifting.
workout
Yeah,
when
the
everyone's
lifting part of
throwing
it.
We had
up.
to prep
Yeah.
for a seminar.
That's it.
Yeah.
It did suck though to do those
I'll
back to
bet.
back.
Just
Because that
so-
was like afternoon to first thing in the morning, so
Yeah.
very little time off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that sucks.
That dude's a freak.
He is a freak.
God, he's an absolute freak.
This is so hard for me though to emphasize stretching because stretching to me seems so boring.
It is so boring. I do it right before bed, dude.
Right before
Yeah,
bed.
right before bed. Honestly, I sleep better when I do
That's-
it
that's a
because
good
I'll
point.
do some breath work or something while I'm doing it. It's just my time to chill out and then I go to sleep. But yeah, plugging that in after your workout, especially when you're busy, dude, it doesn't seem attainable. So doing it, picking those little times like that you can just go do it, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The things like stretching hurts, and I'm just
Oh, it hurts, yeah.
Oh man, I'm like, I hate that
It's
feeling.
an odd feel too.
It is a
It's
weird
really
feeling.
Odd feeling.
Yeah. The other thing too about getting older, because like I've mentioned my kids, but my oldest played basketball last year, and I'd see him out there, warming up for a game, and they go through like a whole series of stretching before they even start into their regular warm up routine. I was like watching him stretch one day, and I was like, shit, I don't even remember how to stretch. Like, I don't even remember what stretches there are to do.
Touch your toes, cherry pickers, all the football stuff.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I would literally have to Google it, like how to stretch. Like, what should I stretch? I just forgot it
There's
all.
some really good apps.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what I use. as an
Yeah,
app.
just like weightlifting or whatever it might
We
be.
got an- we got an app,
you,
too.
you have one,
You do?
right?
Yeah, we got
you
Champion
have
Living Fitness. You can look it up in the
I'm
app
going to use
store.
yours. I
We
use
got,
GoWOD stretching.
GoWOD's
the,
great, yeah.
The CrossFit one.
Yep.
I use that one for stretching.
Yeah, have you heard of ROMWOD or its pliability now? That's what they call it. So I've used them forever, but we made our own app, and so we've got like event-specific workouts for rodeo people, but we have a mobility program on there like anybody can do.
We should do that.
it's
I would
awesome.
rather use his anyway.
It's
Do
the
you have
first
one
week's
that's an
free.
app?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Champion Living Fitness. You can type it in the app store. First week's free. I think it's like $9 a month to
Right
use
on.
it. It's got demo videos, explanation of everything. Biggest thing with the stretching is like that pain that you're feeling. You don't like necessarily force it into like that position. Like let your body
Ease into it.
Yeah, over time. That's gonna be the best thing with mobility.
So Brady's going to start at his knees. And we'll get down to like mid calf.
I just visualizing, back in like elementary school, you got that board in front of you, you're trying to touch your toes. I couldn't even touch the board.
you also
kinda
have a very
to
long way to go.
Yeah, his
yeah,
legs are
you're
so
like-
long.
you have a long way to
Disadvantage.
go.
That's my favorite. My oldest, he goes to the gym, and I'll be like, "Oh, what are you benching?" And he'll, tell me, and I'll be like, "Oh, what's your buddy benching?" And he'll tell me, and he's like, "Yeah, but that guy's like built for it. He's like 5'5". His arms are like a foot long.
Yeah.
He's like, he's built for it. He's like, my arms are really long. Look how far I have to get the bar up.
There is
Yeah.
something to be said about
I'm
that.
like, yeah, I get it.
Like coming from the Olympic
Sure.
lifting, powerlifting world,
Yeah,
there
different
is something
body
to be
types.
said. Like
Yeah.
there are body types that are genetics,
Absolutely.
right? Like
I'm not letting him off
Miles
the hook.
Garrett's the world's
Hell
best
no.
defensive end. He's built that way, you know, and then most power.
TJ Watt's better, but
TJ Watt probably, but he's also built a certain way.
He's
Nick
still a
Bosa,
freak,
all
yeah.
built
Yeah.
very similarly.
Yep.
But then genetics. Your son does have some credibility there, but you should still give him shit for
I
not
still
being
give him
as strong.
shit, yeah. I'm always like, well, you're doing okay, but how much How much emphasis do you put on diet?
Yeah, huge, man. Diet
Really?
is everything. Diet is your fuel. What you metabolize is what you become. So if you're putting garbage in there, we're gonna probably look not so fresh. You know, in the mountains is where I feel it the most, especially like on those big day archery season. Like you put in 20-mile day back to back 2 days in a row. Like, dude, if I am not fueled up, I am a wreck for 2 days after, torched. And it's energy levels, it's muscle soreness, and you have to have fuel, man. You have to have fuel, and especially working out. I think that the boat is missed on the muscle. Guys lift weights, right? And they're like, I'm not getting any bigger. Like, how much are you eating?
Yeah.
Well, you got to assume that like you're probably burning at least 2,000 calories a day. If you're not eating at least 2,000 calories, that's just to maintain. So we have to be in a surplus to gain muscle. And like guys will sign up with us. They'll get some nutrition guidance from us, and like they're supposed to be eating like 1,200 calories more than they are. The thing about that is they want to go immediately to that extra 1,200 calories in a day, right? And like, don't do that. Let's slowly build it up. So you're here, let's increase it 200 calories for the next week. And what your body's going to do is start getting hungry, and all of a sudden you're going to be waking up like, dude, I cannot feed myself enough. Body's actually using the fuel for building muscle. When we aren't consuming enough, again, our body's super good at adapting, and especially to cardio activity. Like, goes back to like cavemen, like where we actually all came from. Hunting, gathering, they went a long time, a long ways, and they didn't always have guaranteed food. The body got really good at adapting and not burning fat as often. So that's why you see a lot of people do all this cardio and eat less, and they gain or lose no weight. Sometimes they gain weight. Yeah. You shut your metabolism down so far that it's not going to burn what you need it to, right? So a lot of times we're having to get them back up to where they are needing to be to eat. But like the fuel is the biggest key here.
It's huge in recovery too.
It's everything
having
in
the fuel
recovery.
while you sleep,
Yeah.
like having calories to actually recover while you're sleeping.
Yeah. If you work with clients that like want to lose some pounds,
Dude,
so
all
you
the
got a
time.
guy like me that just really wintered well from like post archery season through December, Christmas. You know, we eat all the snacks, and then we end up with like 10 or 15 extra pounds. What's the best way to like go about actually losing some weight? Because I'll tell you what I do. This is what I do. I go cardio and I cut my calorie intake to next to nothing. Like I don't eat shit, and I lose the weight real quick, and I'm ornery, and I don't sleep that well.
Yeah.
And my wife's mad at me, and that's how I do it. It's probably not the I always say not the best way to do it. So for guys out there that are wanting to lose some pounds, what do you do? What do you recommend?
Well, the cardio is a really good start. Like getting consistent cardio activity. Cardio is tissue burning, right? So you're not going to build muscle while we're doing cardio. Resistance training is tissue promoting. You're going to build tissue. You're going to build muscle while we're doing it. The biggest thing with you is like the funny thing about lifting weights is you think that you have this fluff, but if we could translate that body fat into muscle, you would look way leaner,
like
but
your son.
way the exact
I
same.
look like my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really the thing is dial your nutrition back in. Try and consistently eat, because you got to keep the metabolism going. Whatever, even if it's just snacks, dude. So if you're like, I hate breakfast, put some protein powder in your coffee. Like do something that will get your metabolism like, hey, there's some fuel. I don't eat big meals. I eat like 5 or 6 like snacks a day, if that makes sense, just because I can't sit there and pile in a big amount of food at once. So I've got little things set out all day. Pepperoni sticks, like whatever we made from our deer or elk. We got cheese. Sometimes I make like charcuterie boards at the house just to have there and snack on, but just to make sure that I'm eating enough, because I see a huge difference in how I feel during that. But if you're trying to lose weight, figure out there's tons of macro calculators out there, literally everywhere. Go find out roughly what you should be eating, and then subtract 500 calories from that. That's a great place to start for trying to lose weight. Yeah. And then once you get to that weight loss spot, you have to change the number. We have to move that number back up 500, because we want to maintain where we are and start building a little bit of muscle, right? Yeah. So biggest thing is consistency. And if you don't know anything, you've just got to go educate yourself or hire a professional.
Yeah. Are you a meal prepper?
Man, I used to be the biggest meal prepper, and I'm lucky enough to work from home. And so I don't prep that much. It's like I like to cook it fresh at the house, but we do cook a couple pounds of burger or something. I'll have rice stored away, some veggies. So like my lunches is always already made, and I just dump it out and go. The prepping is the most important part. If you're someone that is wanting to see any kind of results with losing weight or gaining muscle, like you have to have the nutrition dialed, like we were saying. And if it's not convenient to grab that food, you're not going to do it. And that's just plain and
You
simple.
grab what's easiest.
Yep.
I don't know anything about that, but I've heard rumor that's what happens.
Yeah, it's nice to hear this from a professional because I do a lot of like bro science research.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a professional by any means, but I am very into it and I research the shit out of it. So it's nice to be like validated on things I've been doing. You know
Dude,
what I mean? What I've been told about like calorie surplus or deficit is if you want to be aggressive and you say you wanted to lose 10 pounds, let's say you wanted to get to 190. So 190 times 12 would be your starting point. If you wanted to be aggressive and losing weight, if you wanted to be less aggressive, it'd be 190 times 15. And like that's your starting point. Do that for a week, see what your weight does, and then subtract 200 calories. And then see after a week, subtract 200. That's how I've always figured out my macros was like, okay, I'm going to, the weight I want to be 215 times 12. I'm like, okay, that's my starting point.
Gotcha.
You said like an electrolyte ratio it was a
Yeah.
while ago, but it was spot on. And I was like, dude,
1200
milligrams.
milligrams.
Like you know your stuff, bro.
I do
So
a lot of bro science research.
when
So
you
it's
said
always
that, I
nice
was
to be
like, you nailed
validated.
it.
Like, yes, I wasn't misled on that one.
The internet will appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're actually factual.
There
on
really
that.
is a ton of good information out there these days.
There is. I
you
mean,
know.
look, I do my best to listen to like, Peter Attia, Andy Galpin, Huberman,
Huberman's right.
Derek. He never puts his last name out, but more plates, more dates. Derek,
Yep,
he goes
yep.
on Joe quite a bit. I've been watching him for a while, but like that guy is, as far as pharmacology goes and supplements, that guy is
Dialed.
an encyclopedia of shit. Like that guy's incredible. So I do my best to like, not listen to
Yeah.
actual gym bros
Yeah.
and some sort of science.
No, you got to figure it out, man.
Yeah.
Do you do any supplements?
Yeah, just basic stuff, man. Protein powder, creatine. I think
Creatine.
is the most underrated.
How much
supplement.
do you take a
I
day?
do 5 grams. You need 5 grams as a minimum for the body. The only thing about getting creatine is it comes from red meat, and to get 5 grams of creatine from red meat takes 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So unless you're eating 5 pounds of red meat a day, take a creatine supplement, and it's the most studied supplement there is, period, out there, and it has no bad effects. Some cool stuff coming out. I don't know if you've seen this, but they're actually seeing that it might be more, like 25 grams might be.
So that's why I asked. You.
Yeah, I just
So right
saw that.
now I'm up to 15.
Okay.
I do have a sensitive stomach, so I do have some. I pay attention to like my GI irritability on how much I'm taking. I got up to 20, but I was a little. I
That's the
didn't
only
feel
thing I've seen
quite
is
right.
it can make your stomach a
Yeah,
little uneasy.
and I don't want to take the gummies because the gummies like. There's a lot of leeway, we'll say, in how much
What's
is actually
actually in
in
it.
each
Yep.
gummy, if it's perfect or, some are a little bit off, plus or minus a gram or two. So I do, right now I'm at 15, and I absolutely have noticed a difference going from 5 to 15. I did back off from 20 just because my stomach, but
Are you noticing any like mental effects?
yeah, oh yeah.
The clarity?
Clarity,
Yeah.
for sure. Like I'm an afternoon, not crasher, but like an afternoon kind of pick me up. Like
Yeah,
if it
I'm the
was
same.
socially acceptable to take a 20-minute nap every day at 2 o'clock,
would too.
that would be me.
Yeah.
And it's just not
Yeah.
socially
Yeah.
acceptable. So I've always tried to figure out.
Lame.
It is.
I've always tried to figure out, like, I've always balanced, trying to do that. And the 15 grams of creatine, I've noticed a massive difference on
Yeah,
that.
it's
Like
pretty
having
cool.
that afternoon clarity.
Yeah, it really
been
does
really
work,
good.
man. It works, and it's one of my favorite things. I take protein powder, but besides that, take a testosterone shot twice a week.
You do?
Yep.
How long
much?
you been on that?
Half a cc, so a full
Yeah.
cc throughout the week. Man, I've been on that for a long time. So something with like contact sports.
How old are you?
there's-
Do you mind me asking?
I'm 35.
Okay.
Yep. You wouldn't know with all the gray, but
I'm 37. You wouldn't know with all the gray.
oh yeah. Contact sports, especially like football players, you're seeing a lot of low T levels because of the contact that's happening, the rattling of the brain. Everything is happening in your anterior pituitary gland. So the frontal here, and you got to think about every time you rattle that head, and same thing in bareback riding, like everything is coming back every time. That gets turned off, and so you stop producing testosterone. You start feeling really, really bad. I was feeling that at about 25 years old, so I've been on T for about 10 years, and thankfully found a doctor back then that actually knew what was going
Yeah.
on with me, and like ever since then, it's been. I don't think it's the save all, but for guys like especially getting into your 30s and 40s, if you're noticing big changes, you're still doing the things that you were to keep you that way. Go get your blood checked. Go
Yeah.
find out what your hormone levels are. It might not be T, it could be something else that's off, but like the world that we live in is kind of contaminated. Like there's so many things that they're in the
Shut it down.
environment, that we don't know. Like even soaps, dude. Like body soaps, washing detergents can turn all that off. So, especially if you're in a contact sport, like go get them checked. Go see where you're at, and it will change your absolute life, man.
What do you know about parabens and phthalates, Trail?
Not a damn thing. I just heard it for the first time right there when you said it. What do you?
That's what's in like those fragrances.
Yeah,
that'll
gotcha.
shut down hormonal production.
Yeah,
and
I
like for
don't
men,
like. I don't like that.
testosterone. Yeah, right. It's the building block of everything else. So if that
Everything.
is low, you're gonna be shot everywhere else.
But yeah, I'm pretty simple in that sense, So,
How often do you get your blood work done?
once every 6 months.
Do you really?
Yeah. And it's just, and like when you're on tee, like it's just good to see that everything's going as it should, right? Kind of peace of mind too. Like I'm not worried about anything at 35 years old, but it's just like, oh yeah, we're rocking. Like my training's doing good and my blood looks good. I'm healthy. Like let's keep pushing and doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like your most stereotypical guy. Just don't go to the doctor. Just out of sight, out of mind. Don't worry about it. Just keep plugging along.
It doesn't get into your mind of like, oh, I want to do this for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, it gets in my mind. I get on.
That's always been my
I get on
driving.
tangents, but I just am like,
My driving force is every time I'm out there, I'm like, man, if I get 1 year of this taken off my life, I will be furious.
Yep.
Every once in a while, though, you get like a real, like with my dad, you get like a real eye opener. You're like, oh man,
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the doctor for that though anymore.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that come to your house that just come and take your blood right there. They come to the office and take all your bloods. Like you guys could probably set up a day where you all did that.
Yeah, maybe you and Brady, me and you.
I only got my blood work done once, and it was interesting to do once in my life.
I think that's pretty common. I don't think a lot of people would do that.
I don't either. I only
Yeah.
giggle because I've never had. I don't remember if I've ever
Unless
had
you
mine
just
done.
geek
Never.
out on it like we do.
I do every 6 months as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
do. And the second I see anything in my blood, I'm gonna be. I mean, anything I need to do or want to for longevity, I'll be the first one to do it.
I think you and I are going to take a field trip together. Sounds
Let's do
like.
it. I'm
Do
good.
it.
My girlfriend just did it a while ago. It's like really interesting stuff, and now we're trying to like cut back on. These talk about fragrance stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about soaps in
That's a big
the
deal.
house and laundry detergents and trying to get rid of all that shit. And so now we're working on that.
The big thing too is like having kids, right? I have 2 sons. One's 5 and one's just turned 1 year old. And it's like you start looking at the environment that these kids are living in and growing up in. It's like, man, if you can just make a little bit of change for them to not be around that kind of stuff. Like my wife is into all this as well. She was an Olympic softball player.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I'm an athlete until we actually go out and do something. And I'm like, okay, maybe our kids' athleticism does come from her.
Yeah, it's even all this stuff too lately, like bowls in the house, all the plastics in there,
So
the
we have
rubber,
no-
the
we have
rubber
no
coatings on all your
plastic.
pots and pans, trying to get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like all those random things I
Cooking
never
a
would have
frying
thought.
pan too hot.
Yeah.
If you don't have, God, I can't remember what if you cook Teflon,
Teflon,
too
Yeah, the
hot,
Teflon.
it
Trying
is
to-
bad.
getting rid of
Like, all
Teflon.
bad.
Getting rid of all the plastic spatulas and all that shit. Like
It's a big deal.
trying to make a change.
And when you have, like, I'm sure your wife probably, because you guys married each
yeah.
other, is the same way.
Yes,
Wait, when
exact
you have
same.
kids, it'll
So yeah,
it
like
goes through the
she's
through
already
the
on
roof
that, bro.
of how serious
like
you
we
take it
are
all.
very,
Yeah.
very into it.
So I do draw a line. I do draw a little bit of a line in the sand because, like, my wife with our 2 boys will take it to a certain point. Like, we have toilet paper in the house that is not white.
I will not
'cause that
sacrifice
has-
on the TP.
It
Give me
has
some angels.
bleach. It has bleach in it, and
Yeah.
she always, well, bleach isn't going to touch my son's buttholes. I'm like, well, I don't like what we're using now because it's literally like a tree.
Rough.
I'm like, I draw the line there, and I'm also like, I draw the line on the hippie smell. If I start smelling like a hippie, I gotta have something. So we gotta find the safest option of like smelling like I showered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I'm not
I'm the
gonna
same
use coconut oil as deodorant. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
I can pretty confidently say I think that's the only time that sentence is going to be uttered on the podcast.
I don't know. Get my wife in here, man. She'll tell you all that. It was so funny because I got mad at her. We got in an argument, and her comeback to me was, "Bleach is not touching my son's buttholes." I'm like,
That is
"Whoa,
hilarious.
Can it touch mine?
Yeah,
Like, I don't
I'm
like
fine
when we're
with
using
it. I'm fine with it.
How are you going to gauge how effective it is?
I mean, I couldn't use what it was. It was not comfortable. It was way too rough.
man.
I get that.
Are your clients like rodeo riders? Are they pretty good about diet?
Oh yeah, man.
Like-
It just depends. It's, again, seasons. Like
Yeah,
when we're on the
seasons.
road,
I think that'd be hard.
We're maintaining, and a lot of you guys have campers that
Yeah.
they have little stovetops. Do you guys haul around little black tops with them? And just pull them out in griddles, and they'll cook and do all that together. So it's evolved a lot. Usually it's truck stop coffee and whatever,
Yeah.
the burrito at the gas station,
Yeah.
and that's what they were living on. But we've changed a lot, and they've definitely adapted some new ways, and guys are just traveling around a lot better.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they do their best. But
Yeah.
again, it's just
Yeah, I told this story on the podcast before, but when I was waterfowl hunting like crazy, and that was my diet because I had just stopped playing football and went full blown waterfowl hunter. Trained a dog, wasn't doing anything but driving a truck and sitting in a blind. I got to 263 and looked in the mirror and I'm like,
oh
okay,
yeah.
like let's get back, let's get back to how it used to be.
Yeah, you showed us that photo.
It was bad. It was really bad, and I have that photo just for common reference.
Dude, it's food's
Gas station burritos,
not
man,
good.
not good for
not ideal.
Delicious.
Are you guys done?
Delicious.
You guys got any late season stuff, hunting wise? Are you guys all done for the year?
We're pretty well done.
Yeah, I usually go to Mexico in January, February, but not this year with the
Yeah.
2 kids. It's too tough.
Yeah, it makes me sad when rodeo
Yeah.
when hunting season is over. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know.
When did you start hunting? Have you hunted your whole life as well?
So my dad, like I said, when we grew up in Alaska, my dad was like
Yeah.
the ultimate outdoorsman. I watched him kill moose, kill mountain goat,
Oh, wow.
and just really
Dang.
like. I never got to go do all that stuff with him, but it really like lit a fire in me and my brother, I think. And we moved to Texas, and hunting's a little different down there than it is the Western style. You're sitting under a feeder, and we got exposed to. You got to shoot a lot of deer and learn about it that way. But really, I didn't get to hunt most of my adult life until I moved to Colorado in COVID year, so 2021, whatever that was. And I was pretty hell bent on figuring it out myself. And actually, your guys' the podcast, dude, helped me out a ton. And your guys' the filtering and the 2.0 and all that stuff. Like, dude, I've been addicted to that since I started. So I've learned a lot from just your guys' resources, which is really fun for me.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, it works. Like if you put in the time and use what you guys have put together, it works. It may not work the first year, but it will if you put the time in. But I learned all by myself, minus you guys, for 2 years. I went out and didn't even see an elk the first year with my bow. Second year, I had 2 bulls at 60 yards, and I wasn't confident in shooting that far. And so the next year, I was like, I'm going to be confident at.
Good on you for not taking that shot.
I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to hurt something and track it. And now looking back, I'm like really glad I didn't do that, because I've had to track some things here this last year. And it's like, it's freaking hard, dude. It can get really tough. But it took me 2 years, or we moved to Montana. The 2 years I hadn't killed an animal, and I got my resident tags, which Montana is absolutely outstanding for everything you get to do as a resident, right? You have so much opportunity, but still public land. The numbers are not great where we are. I think there's they did the surveys, it's like 750 elk in that little unit that I'm hunting. And I put in just a few days and ended up killing my first bull at 25 yards, just
Good
walking
for you.
in, just still hunting a little bit. And
That's so
the
cool.
wind was perfect coming uphill. You just come around the corner, he's right there. I was like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Laced him, double lunged him, dropped 40 yards, and it was like, that was the coolest experience ever. Flash forward, did not go like that this year for me with my bow. Elk hunting was so hard in September, man. It was so hot. They were so nocturnal. I didn't see a single elk in September, and I put in the daylight. I saw elk right at dark, but I put in, like I said, 212 miles in 27 days. I was pretty whooped from that. But just like you guys, like I just am too dumb to quit or something. I love it. It fires me up to be successful and put in the work. And I learned so much over those 3 seasons, man. Like this rifle season was the first time I was like, I actually know what I'm doing. Like, this is really working and coming together for me. And I shot that bull in September at like 52 yards with my 300. So like you're still in bow range. It's still the same thing.
Yep.
And that's just the country that we're in. It's so thick out there. You're not glassing anything. Also the SIGs, dude, the Zulus are the best
Life
investment
changer.
I have ever made,
Yeah,
period.
they're
Life
game
changer.
changers.
Shout out
Period.
Sig.
Yes.
Shout out, Sig. Sponsor the
Absolutely.
podcast.
Yeah.
Legitimately life changing.
Yep. I bought them because of the podcast.
There
I
we
bought
go.
it from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Hear
they
that,
are
Sig?
game changer. Yeah, an absolute game changer. And
Let me ask you, because we've asked some people who came from high level life experiences in the past who got into hunting later in life, that first bull you killed at 25 yards with your bow, how did that compare to like the adrenaline of that and calming your mind down, all of that? How did that compare to the first time you got on a horse,
that's
or any time you got on
closest
a
thing
horse?
you can get to it. I was gonna say that earlier when you were asking me that. I just forgot, but like that's why I love hunting so much, is because you get that adrenaline dump and you get that satisfaction of conquering the wild, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And like on top of that is so much more, because that thing is providing for my family the rest of the year. So, dude, I cried the first time I shot,
Yeah.
and I was all by myself, but it was like the coolest experience ever. And ever since then, like the work that you put in, the finding, and then the being successful because of all the time that you put in, and like all the unsuccessful times that you had, there's nothing like it. And it compares so much to rodeo because, like I said, dude, the first 100 horses, I don't even remember the first 3 seconds. You just get your dick slammed in the dirt over and over and over. And that's kind of what elk hunting feels like in the beginning when you're learning, you know? So to fight through that, overcome the adversity, there is nothing like it to me, right? It fires me up. And I think, dude, there's so many guys that rodeo that absolutely are diehard hunters. It crosses
There
over
is
so much.
There's a huge crossover in the rodeo world. It's actually more so, this is kind of anecdotal just for me, and you guys might say the same thing, but you know, you run into diehard fishermen, and I feel like the transition into hunting isn't that high. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not.
Fishers kind of stay fishermen, and hunters kind of stay hunters, and there's low crossover. But for whatever reason, rodeo and cowboys, like there is a massive crossover from them to hunters.
Horse stock on an elk hunt.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
boof.
yeah. And just like rodeo athletes too, they all seem to be hunters, all of them.
Every one of them, dude. Every one of us hunts. I'm about to show you guys. So I got to shoot my first mule deer buck this year. No, last year is my first one. And he is like 32 and a half across, like 196. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to shoot another one like that.
Sounds like a good one.
But it was like one of those days where no one wants to go out. It was like -18 when we woke up. And my dad and his buddies are there. So my dad goes on this hunting trip every year. Been going with his fraternity brothers for like 30 years. It's like their time and their thing, right? And I got to go on that for the first time and just experience it. I've been looking forward to that since I was like 8. Like hearing all the stories, you know? So like just being a part of it was like meant a lot. And I get up and they're like, no way, dude. Like it's no way. I'm like, I'm going. It's the last day. Let's go. And so 2 of his buddies are like, F it. Like we're not letting you go by yourself. We'll go with you. And it's like one of those colds that it's like, you cannot stop. Or it hurts because you're so cold. And we walked around these basins and up these ridges for till 4:30 p.m. And I'm literally like, all right, we put in some time. Like we did everything we could. Let's go. I want to check over this one little hole. And it had just stopped snowing. And we get over the little knoll, dude, and all I see is just rack. And I'm like,
I love that.
slinging gloves off, slinging scope cover off, guns up on the shooting stick. And I shot him at like 85. And I didn't even know what he was till we got up to him. Let me see if I can find him. But it like that moment, dude, was like, that was the first time that I'd been really successful and planned it in my head and it went the way it was supposed to. It never goes like that. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have had that moment where
For
it's like,
sure.
oh, like
1 out of
this is
100
it. Yeah, that's
goes
it.
that way. And
but
it's
it feels so good when it
there's
does.
no way that just happened.
Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find
that
this thing.
flow state. I mean, he talked about it when he said he come back from injury. You know, that ride that you felt.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good deer.
That's awesome.
But,
Montana?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a great
You,
deer.
you a bigger bow hunter or
Yeah,
rifle hunter?
man. My dad never bow hunted, so I never started bow hunting until I was 30. And I am so addicted, it's not even funny, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so addicted. I bought a bunch of tax pallets that they sell. So I bought 15 targets. I got a full course in the back of the yard.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I shoot that thing every chance I can. So it's made a big difference in just my confidence with my bow. And like this year, I felt confident to 70 or 80 if the shot was like good, right? And so I never got that opportunity, but it just makes me excited for next year because it's game on, baby. I've learned so much more, and it's just and I think that learning one unit has helped me out so much. You get so caught up in the general units. There's 50 options you can go to, right? And you get kind of like, oh, this sucked. I'm going to go here. And it's like, dude, just learn one unit first. Because once you get in the elk, you're going to learn so much about what they do that it translates to other units. And that's the one thing I did this year. Is I just hunted one area. The density of animals was low. But even that, I found those. And like once we found them, I was learning a lot about them. So like there's nothing that can replace those reps in the field and doing it. But like for me being 30 in the first 2 years, I was pretty discouraged, man. Like not even seeing an animal. But if you just keep going, I think that applies to anything in life. That's why I feel like rodeo athletes and guys that hunt are so good at doing life because there's adversity around every corner. Every day's different. You're going to have to overcome something. That's why you get good at, like, everyday life doesn't seem so much then. Yeah. Right? You overcome these big things. So, like, I don't know. I just think rodeo athletes, hunters, there's so much correlation.
I agree.
And, like, we're winners.
Yeah.
You know, if you get out here and do this stuff, you like to win at whatever you do. So just keep putting in that work.
Refuse to fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the gratification for me.
The day you don't want to get out of your sleeping bag and it's freezing ass cold and you're like, nope.
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
go.
going.
Gotta
I
go.
can't go.
Goes
Am
the
I really
push.
going to bitch out on this?
Yep.
Really just because it's cold?
Yep.
What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
thing with hunting season is when it comes around, I'm like, I've waited for this all year long.
Yeah,
like
he's gotta get out.
I will be damned if I'm not going to get out of
Yeah.
bed and go.
100%.
Because I can't go when the season's not open,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm going to be back in front of my computer at my desk. Like
Only wishing you could
I'll
be
be damned if I'm not going to get up and go.
How do your wives like deal with that time? You know, like being gone. Like when I got married last September, so a year ago, the 28th.
You got married in September?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, bro. I know.
Terrible idea.
The last
Yeah.
2 days.
Wait,
But
what?
she's like, she knows how much it means to me. And she's like, you be home by September 26th. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, go do your thing. Go
Yeah.
hunt. You only
Yeah.
get so many times a year. Like, how important is that? Like, when you guys were you looking for that in the beginning when you, like, before you asked her to marry you? Like, were you like, this is very important to me. I want this to, you know, like, it can't be
Yeah.
affected or kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or was it kind of like oh, we're together, and by the way, I'm going to be gone in September and October. Like,
That's
how
how
did
it
that
happened
work?
for me, which I
Okay.
wouldn't recommend.
That's why I was going to let you go first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, so I got married in June. I had an elk tag that year in Utah, which I'd drawn, and I told her, hey, I drew this elk tag, archery elk tag. It's important to me. I'm going to go hunting. I really love it, and it's what I want to do. And it didn't take her too long to realize that, like, and her family hunted as she was growing up, but I remember one time, I think I'd gone like a 4 or 5 day trip, and then I came back home for like a stretch to go to class because I was in college. And I remember her saying, like, oh, this thing that you want to do, that you like to do, this is not the same thing that my family did. Like, this is a different thing. Like, you feel differently about that. And I was like, yeah, I guess I do, you know? And I mean, this is not good advice, but this is advice. This is what I had a boss that when I worked for the Forest Service, he told me, and I've repeated this, but he basically said, you know, when you get married, if there's something that you want to continue doing for the rest of your married life, do that thing. Like within the first 30 days, like you need to, I hate saying this, I'm going to catch so much shit, but like you got to basically set a precedence. Like, this is this thing, and this is how important it is to me. And obviously communication, I think I didn't have the skills at the time when I got married. I was just a dumb kid. But I mean, I think, you know, prior to getting married, you should communicate that to your partner. Like, hey, this thing is like really important to me.
Yeah.
Like over, you know, I've been married 20 some years, I guess, at this point, but over the course of that, I mean, she's really like come to understand, and then my kids as well, because it's a sacrifice for my kids because I'm gone quite a bit in the fall. But I think they've kind of learned, and I've tried to communicate to them, like, this isn't really just like, it's not a hobby for me. It's not like something I do enjoy it, but it's not like it's legitimately like part of my identity. It's what I love to do. It's like, I look forward to it all year long. It's like really the only driving force in my life, which is maybe sad to say, but it is the
true
thing.
statement.
Yeah, it is the thing that I plan my entire life around.
I don't think it's sad to say. I think
I
it's
don't
awesome.
either.
I mean, every part of my life is kind of built around that. And I think, I mean, being married, my wife sees it. Like, I get up, I shoot my bow every day. You know, I'm always tinkering with equipment. When we were first married, in the spring, I was out shed hunting probably 30, 40 days every spring. I paid our car payment when I was in college with shed antlers. I mean,
There you go.
That's awesome.
yeah, it was just like what I did all the time. Like, I would get up in the morning in November and I would go out and watch rutting deer. And, you know, whether I had a tag or not, like, I was out listening to elk bugle. And like, as my kids were growing up, we would go out and look around. But I think, I mean, just communication, I guess I would say, keep it a high level. And then, like I said, just if it's really important to you, make sure that you do it early and often.
Yeah. Your wife hunts, doesn't she?
I've got her into it.
Yeah.
So I would agree on the communication side, but I got incredibly, you know, I don't know if you want to call it lucky or whatnot, but when I met my wife, I had already, GOHUNT was already a thing. Like, hunting wasn't just what I did. It was also like
Your job.
all of what I am. Right. So it was kind of it was already a known thing without having to communicate that type of stuff. That trail was, you know, slowly over the 20 years communicating the whole time.
I got married quick, and so she didn't really understand this, and I was like, she was in it before. By the time she was like, "Oh shit, what have I done?" I'm certain she's at this point been like, oh, "That was stupid of me. What the hell was I thinking?"
Yeah. So you know, it was not an unknown for me in any stretch of the word, and it's everything in my life revolves around hunting. That's why I don't think it's sad to say at all. Like, this outside of my family and doing things for and with my family. Like, it is absolutely the only driving force outside of that is hunting for me. And it was just very clearly there when she met me, just because it was all of my life, not just what I did on the weekends. And the other really good thing about her too is she, like I said, is an Olympic level softball player. Sadly, they did away with the Olympics the year she was coming out of college, so she didn't get to play. But she understood like sacrifice and high level stuff, and so she was very, very engaged with that and loved it. So I got her into hunting. And she has come to love it too, because since softball has left her life and having to perform at a high level in stressful situations and, championship games, things like that, the closest thing she's ever had to that is killing that bull in the showroom with her bow. She's killed 2 now with her bow. She loves that feeling. Yep. So she, as Trail would be very proud to hear, is only an elk hunter. So I've had her. Ooh. She's killed antelope. She's killed 2 antelope. She's killed 2 mule deer, and she's killed 2 elk. She does not want to hunt at all anymore unless it's archery elk. That's the only thing she wants to hunt.
That's pretty cool, dude.
I will say though, you having your kid coming up, like the hardest part for me now is like hunting has changed because my kids are young to the point where I can't bring them on all the hunts. But at some point I'll be able to bring them on hunts and hunt with them more, or be able to explain to them like why I do this and how much it means to me. But my 5-year-old doesn't understand that yet.
Right.
So I find myself like right now, kind of in that, to be like as transparent as possible, kind of that guilty stage where I feel guilty leaving them, So that's way harder than my wife. My wife honestly doesn't, not that she doesn't care, but
she gets it.
Yeah. And I do so much I make sure to do so much for her and the family outside of hunting when I am home, being present, doing the right things, like being there to help. But I will say that also goes the other way, because then when I am gone, she feels like how gone I actually am, right? Because I'm not helping with the kids or anything.
Thing about kids, and I feel the same way, like there's a certain amount of guilt that you feel for your wife, your family, because it's like I'm not there helping and doing the thing. And maybe it's just my justification of like, this is why I take that time. But like I look at my dad, and I bet you would look at yours the same way. Like my dad used to take 10 days and he'd go backpack elk hunting or archery deer hunting, and I'm sure at the time as a kid I was like, oh, that sucks, my dad's gone, those 10 days or whatever. But as an adult, and that's the thing, is like you realize you're only with your kids are going to be in your house probably from the day they're born to they're 18, so the bulk of their life they're going to exist outside your home. And like I always think I would want my kid, when they're a parent, a dad, to retain that hobby, like that passion, that sport, to like go out, take that time and do something you really love, And I think, I don't know, I appreciate it a lot more looking back at my dad. I'm like, man, I really appreciate the fact that that guy pursued the things that he genuinely loved, because he's a person as well as a father. You know what I mean? Like he has these things that he loves, that he is really passionate about. And like, I hope my kids, again, it's probably just my justification, but I take that time and I'm thinking, I hope they pick up on that. I hope that there's something in that they see, and maybe they won't realize it until they're adults, but I hope that they look back and they're like, you know what, my dad did some cool shit. Like there was things that he wanted to do, and he was like a person. He was his own person. He wasn't just my dad, He had hopes and dreams and things that he wanted to do.
I do agree with that very much so. Yeah. Because like what my dad has accomplished in his life and who he is and the life he could have, like nothing but easy street all the way through, and he still chooses to go backpack hunt sheep in September in snowstorms, 15 days out of a bivvy tent. I think it's fucking awesome. I love that about him.
Like that's my goal. I want to be doing that stuff when I'm 60 and 70.
My dad's 65 years old. Could be living on easy street, beyond easy street if he wanted to, and he still chooses to go hunt stone sheep in September.
Like the challenge.
Freezing ass cold weather in a bivvy for 15 days to go try to kill one specific ram. I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is, man.
I love that about him.
Absolutely.
65 years old.
Brady, you learn anything about getting married, having kids?
Well, I think I did it slightly right, setting myself up on these, everything nowadays, dating apps. I just have a girlfriend.
That's where I met my wife,
Yeah. So I set myself...
Which app?
Bumble.
Oh, the good one.
The good one.
The old school one.
Yeah.
So I set myself up, I think, in a right way, because all of my dating profile was hunting photos. So I didn't get a lot of matches in Las Vegas, but I was like, the ones I matched on.
Not a lot of match.
the ones I'm going to match with are going to understand this is my life and this is what I do. And she's very, very understanding. I think we started dating last year, February 29th. It was the leap year. And then I went on a. So the day doesn't even exist. So I was like, when's our anniversary?
Your anniversary? I don't even know if I know that.
So whatever, month and a half, May 2 months later, I went on a 12-day black bear backpack hunt, and I was like gone the whole time. She understood this is my passion, my drive is what I want to do, and she likes being outdoors. So I was like, got someone who enjoys being outdoors as well, and understands. Yes, she understands too. This is like a job as well, which I'm fortunate enough she understands my passion about it in my life, and then meeting my family, understanding it's a full-on thing with my family tradition. We just got back from our Thanksgiving annual hunt. We do every single year. We try to do a hunt together on Thanksgiving. My dad growing up was never around during Thanksgiving. Like Trail said, it's like, oh, my dad's not here. It's like he's doing cool things all the time. And now we're giving back and doing the family side. So like she just understands that hunting is my life and it's everything to me.
I think you have an unfair advantage of her knowing before you guys get married.
The funny
I think
thing
what
is
you should have to do is fight about it for 5 or 6 years.
The funny thing too, I've never ever talked about it, is she like, because it says like your job on those dating things, and so I didn't want to put like hunting industry. I just put like outdoor media, and she's like, what's outdoor media? But then she kind of like was able to figure it out herself, because I think she saw like GOHUNT hat I was wearing and stuff like that. She's like, she actually creeped on me before we went on the first date. She'd watched a bunch of hunting videos beforehand, so she knew so much about me.
I'd like that
beforehand. So I'm like, this is kind of unfair. You know so much about me, and I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But she still wanted to hang out with me and go on dates.
That's a good
sign.
It's like, I do have one riff with my dad though. I was set up for failure on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Set up for failure. Like my family, we are a very tight family. We always have been, and we've always done like very family centric things over Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's the best waterfowl hunting there is.
Yeah.
It's like that. I should be waterfowl hunting, man.
Yeah.
Like those are some great days that I just have locked away forever now, because it's just such a family that, which, I mean, I don't complain that much about it, just kind of giving her shit, but like, man, I want to go waterfowl hunt over Christmas break.
Yeah.
I don't want to. What am I doing?
There's nothing better than hunting rutting bucks with your brothers and your dad
really
in
did
November.
that one right.
You have a
really
boy,
set you up
right?
for success.
Yeah, little boy. His name's gonna be Wilder.
Wilder.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Love it.
That's
be
good, man.
You gonna let him ride bucking horses?
If he wants to, yeah. I hope he picks up golf or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like
Archery.
a rope or something. Yeah, bow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna be around it. You know what I mean? And if he's half me, so I'm gonna bet he's gonna be gravitating towards
It's a common football parent question too. Is like Rodeo's the same way. Would you let him play football? I'm like, shit, if he wants to. I would prefer he find another track, but if he really wants to play it, go for it.
Yeah.
His name's would be Wilder.
Douglas Champion.
This guy's a bold. He's
Wilder.
He's
a cowboy.
he's got a solid
It's done.
point. The
This
guy's
thing's
riding
setting the
buck in
stars.
Bronx already.
Oh yeah.
Riding in the stars already. It's done,
man.
That's great.
It's been awesome.
Well, cool. Thank you for. Do you guys have any other questions? We've had him for almost
Wow.
an hour.
Holy smokes, that flew by.
It's my favorite thing to do. This podcast. I love this shit.
too.
Give us where can people find you? Give us a plug for what do you do and
championlivingfitness.com.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, champion.living. That's probably majority where you're going to see my stuff. That's pretty much it, man.
do you do one-on-one coaching? Anything like
we
that?
do everything, man. We do one-on-one coaching.
Gotcha.
We have groups that we do, and it's not just for rodeo athletes. Like if you hunt and you like to be outside, we have a total different platform for that. We work with everybody. Like if you just are a mom and dad that wants to chase your kids around the yard without being sore, like hit us up. We can help you. We're all about just be a champion in everyday life, man. Whatever it is, we want you to be the best at it. So that's where you can find me. And guys, thank you so much for having me.
Man.
This has been awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's
You're a cool
the
dude.
name of your podcast?
Champion Living, the Champion
Living.
Living podcast with Doug Champion. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, and we talk about rodeo, fitness, nutrition. It all matters. We had a mental performance coach on today. She's actually an Olympic pairs figure skater.
Really?
Canadian. Yeah, she's actually my sister-in-law.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we had
Married to your brother?
Yeah, married to my brother. So my brother's a 9-time NFR qualifier. She's an Olympian.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there we go.
We've got some badasses in the family for sure.
That's
Good
awesome.
blood.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the rodeo.
We will, man, and we'll keep in touch.
Right on.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
again for joining me.
Thanks, guys.